Welcome to the Genealogy Gems podcast, providing quick and innovative ways to make the absolute most out of your research time and creative ideas for sharing and displaying your family history. I'm your host, Louise Cooke. Hello and welcome to episode 76 of the Genealogy Gems podcast. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. We certainly did. Our family went to our son-in-law's family's home for Thanksgiving, and I brought dessert, lots of pies. I think I did 2 pumpkin pies, an apple pie, and a boysenberry pie. Even though it's a lot of work in the summer and the fall to pick the fruit in our yard and make up the pie fillings and freeze them, I am always so happy this time of year just to be able to reach into the freezer and pull out a taste of summer. They were very yummy. And of course, we all watched my daughter Vienna breathlessly because she's pretty much going to give birth to the first grandchild for both of our families any day now. She's past the tying her own shoes point, and they've got the nursery all done. We had our baby shower for her. It went terrific. It was poo-rific. It was Winnie the Pooh. But we had a really good time, and she is just looking ready to go. So I think we're all ready to go. And speaking of being ready to go, are you ready for Christmas yet? Hey, it's past Thanksgiving, so it's fair game to ask. I've gotten most of my shopping done, and I just want to give all of you out there who have been using the Amazon links on my website to do your Christmas shopping, your online shopping, a really, really big thank you. I really appreciate that you make the effort to use the link to get to the Amazon site because it really does make it possible for me to keep bringing these free episodes to you. You all have been so supportive, and I really appreciate that so much. And there's still time to get your shopping done, and I'm not kidding. I have done about 90% of my shopping online this year. So if you want to help out the podcast while you shop, just head to genealogygems.tv and click on the Amazon box or use the Amazon search box to look for your first item, and Genealogy Gems will get credit for anything that you buy while you're on the Amazon site. And that doesn't cost you anything extra, which is terrific. And I love it because not only most of the items I bought, I didn't pay tax because I think you're only taxed if if the company is in the state that you're in. It was fantastic having things just show up on my front porch. But best of all, my kids have very particular things they want. I'm sure yours do too. Certain movies, certain CDs. I have no clue who these musicians are, so it's really nice to be able to go into Amazon. Not only I can use the search box, and they pretty much have everything that I could possibly want, but the kids actually have their own wish list on Amazon. So I can go through there, and they can prioritize and kind of show me what they like and what they want. And of course, I don't know who any of these people are, so it's really, really helpful to me. I love shopping on Amazon, and that's why I've chosen to work with them and to recommend them to you because, boy, it sure makes a difference. Well, now let's talk about the genealogy news, what's going on here recently. There has been some new news from the folks over at RootsMagic. So tell all your friends that they can start building their own family tree for free. Starting November 18th, they announced that they have made available RootsMagic Essentials, which is a free desktop genealogy software based on their award-winning RootsMagic 4 system. And it contains many of the core features that you find in RootsMagic 4 that is going to allow people to easily start tracing their family tree. So head over to rootsmagic.com or pass that on to your newbie genealogist friends to help get them started. It's a great program. And the folks over at Family Search have added some new record collections, which can be searched for free at the FamilySearch.org website at the Record Search Pilot. You just click on Records and then click on Record Search Pilot. The new records include an update of the Brazil Catholic Church records, 1805 to 1879. That's a project that's ongoing. There's also Massachusetts marriage records from 1842 to 1915. That's a new index and image collection. There's also the Mexico Catholic Church records, new index and images for baptismal records, part of an ongoing project. Also Spain municipal records, 1837 to 1870, and they've added indexes to the U.S. 1920 federal census for the states of Texas, Ohio, and Iowa. And over at footnote.com, they have recently released the Native American collection of historical records, which they've been partnering with the National Archives and the Allen County Library on. And it includes in there, on their microsite, a free service where visitors can create their own web pages for their Native American families. Well, in this episode, we are going to have part 2 of my conversation with the head genealogist at the incredibly popular and free website, FamilySearch.org. And he's got some fascinating predictions for the future of online genealogy. But first, I want to hear from you, and that would be at the mailbox, and that's coming up right after this. Do you have your genealogy gem rhinestone pin yet? Genealogy Gems podcast listener Pat Del Payas does, and she's loving it.
I love it. It's the perfect size. It has just the right amount of sparkle in it. I told everybody I'm going to wear this pin every time I make some sort of genealogical discovery, so you ask me about it when you see me.
Get your own Genealogy Gem rhinestone pin and get the folks around you talking. The pin is made with high-quality Czechoslovakian and Austrian crystals and measures 1 inch high and 2 inches across. It adds just the right amount of bling to clothing, hats, and purses. Tell the world that you're a genealogy gem today and get your genealogy gem pin at the Genealogy Gems podcast website at genealogygems.tv. In the mailbox this week, I got an email from our friend Crystal Bell, who I featured on episode 44 of the Family History Genealogy Made Easy podcast, which is also available at my website at genealogygems.tv as well as in iTunes. The episode was called Broken Branches. And again, it was episode number 44. And Crystal shared her heartbreaking story of childhood abandonment by her mother and how now, many, many decades later, she's discovering her lost family tree. Crystal writes, "Since the interview, I have found cousins and at least one brother I didn't know I had. We are keeping in touch, and I'm trying to catch up with him on the Raschwitz line, my maiden name. He has 4 other siblings. It's all overwhelming at times. To think that I have at least 5 half-siblings I have never met. Who knows, maybe I'm the oldest of 20 or 30 children, or maybe I'm not even the oldest. This brother found me on Facebook somehow. I love your dedication to genealogy, Crystal." Well, Crystal, we all love that you shared your story with us and couldn't be happier for you that your family is growing. Crystal's story is really a wonderful reminder that a broken branch need not keep you from embracing your family tree. Thank you so, so much for writing, Crystal. And Liz Pigeon wrote in about Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 74. That was featuring Joe Bott, the creator of the Dead Fred website. She writes, "Dear Lisa, just listened to your podcast about Dead Fred. There is an Australian equivalent called Photo Rescue, though no way as big as Dead Fred. You can find it at members.optusHome.com.au/LenoreFrost/photorescue.html. And yes, I will have that website address for you in the show notes so that you can just click on it to get there. And she writes, "And I know that people also post unknown photographs to Flickr groups. I enjoy your podcasts." Liz Pigeon. I know we've got lots of Australian listeners out there, so that's a great website for you as well. But of course, you know, people migrate. People in Great Britain or the U.S. may find something on that Australian website. So thanks so much for sharing that, Liz. And I have an email here from A.C. Ivory. Now, A.C. is just 22 years old. And he has been diving into his family history, and he wrote me with a really neat story. He writes, "Lisa, I have to tell you really quickly about my recent gold mine that happened to me this weekend. I live in Salt Lake City, and my dad's aunt lives down in St. George, and I wanted to go visit her to see if she had any pictures that I could use for a calendar that I wanted to make for my grandpa for Christmas. I called her about 2 weeks ago to see if it would be okay if I came down to visit and talk about family history. She was so thrilled to have me come down. We spent all weekend going through photos, documents, and her telling me stories about our family. I showed her the website that I've been making and all the things that I've been working on. Well, let's just say that she didn't want me to go home. I have no doubt, AC. She told me I could just live there with them and work on family history with her all day, every day. I told her I would definitely be up to that if I didn't have to go back to work and school. I probably scanned about 500 pictures of our family this weekend. My database is getting so big. It is so amazing what can happen if you just ask your family if they have a few pictures. I didn't expect to get that many. Earlier today, she turned to me and asked, "Now, you're going to come down here in February to go to the Family History Expo and stay again at my house, right?" Well, to say the least, I think she was more excited that I came down than I had actually been myself. Before I left today, she showed me 2 big totes full of pictures that we didn't even get to. I told her that I was going to come down earlier in February before the conference and we can do some more scanning. She was so excited that I came down. On the drive back, I kept thinking to myself how glad I am that I'm doing family history at such an early age. I am only 22. As I listened to your show, so many people have said that they regret that they didn't start earlier, and it just makes me glad that I'm doing it. It is amazing how much you can get done when you have great aunts, grandparents, etc. to ask questions and get photos. Thanks again for being a friend that I can talk to about genealogy since I don't know anybody else my age to talk about it with. Haha. Keep up the great work with your shows, AC Ivory. Well, I think it's terrific that AC has gotten started on his genealogy now, and I just wish that more younger people could see the benefit like AC does. They wouldn't have those regrets later about wishing that they could have talked to their older relatives like so many of us do. And for you premium members, I have some ideas for you from genie blogger Ruth Hyman, who takes it upon herself to foster that appreciation of family history in her young grandchildren. And she puts together what she calls, get this, the Grandma Genie Camp. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, she did this, and she was writing about it on her blog, and she's got a lot of really neat activities that she talks about that would also be perfect for implementing over the Christmas holiday coming up. And you can hear that interview with her in Premium Episode 35. I just think it's so important. If we could actually do that with our grandchildren when they're young, then maybe, like AC, they will develop more of an interest in their early years when they can still get out there and talk to their older relatives. That would really be wonderful. So Ruth's got some great ideas for us, and you might want to check that out on Premium Episode number 35. And you can check out AC's website. It's really neat. The address is GenerationIvory.com. And again, I'll have a link for that in the show notes. And finally, a quick email from Susan Freer. Susan must have picked up on the fact that I love music from years gone by, and she sent me a link to a really fun website with a very strange name. It's called upchucky.com. I know, it doesn't sound very appetizing, but it is. It's upchucky.com. And there's a lot of odds and ends on this site, games and videos and that kind of thing. But specifically, what I think she thought I would enjoy was the radio hits of the 1940s jukebox page. It's just a wonderful page. You can pull it up, click the play button on the jukebox, and you can listen to the music of the 1940s while you're surfing around on the internet. So anyway, it's really neat. I will have a link directly to the 1940s jukebox in the show notes.
Profile America, Thursday, December 3rd. The national census next April will be the 23rd time this once-a-decade count has been conducted since 1790. The third census in 1810 profiled a nation on the verge of war. There were just over 7 million residents of the 17 states. The list of 10 biggest cities included Charleston, South Carolina, New Orleans, Northern Liberties Township in Pennsylvania, and Salem, Massachusetts. In the decade to follow, British soldiers burned the White House and other buildings in Washington. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, and the 13 Stars and Stripes became the official U.S. flag. At the decade's end, the steamship Savannah crossed the Atlantic in 29 days. Profile America is a public service of the U.S. Census Bureau, now preparing for the 2010 census.
David Rencher has been a professional genealogist since 1977, and he was accredited in Ireland research in 1981. He graduated from Brigham Young University in 1980 with a BA in Family and Local History. He's past president of the Federation of Genealogical Societies from 1997 to 2000 and the Utah Genealogical Association from 1993 and 95. He is currently the head genealogist at FamilySearch.org. And in today's episode, you'll be hearing part 2 of my interview with him on the past, present, and future of Family Search. I had sent out messages on Twitter and Facebook saying, hey, I'm getting to talk to David Rencher, and do you have any questions? And Mary Laura is one of my listeners, and she sent in a question. She was saying that she's a PAF user, and that she and her friends who use PAF were really wondering, with the new Family Search, how is the interface going to change? Is their data now going to all reside online? Or is there a way to still keep that on your own computer as well? So what's the latest and greatest with that?
The great answer is that there's both.
Good.
With new Family Search, people who are just beginning will probably just want to start right in new Family Search, and their data will just be managed online all the time. And they really won't have the need for a desktop client that they may want. They may want to just do it online. Those of us who've been doing it for years and are used to the desktop and want to kind of control the data here before we upload it and that type of thing, will be able to do that as well. What Family Search will not be doing is creating the interface between the current version of PAF and that new client. Okay. We're depending on third parties and others to do that, and so there will be other products that will have kind of that conversion file that will take it from one to the other. And so some people may want to continue to use PAF. They certainly can do that. Certainly there will be accommodation in different localities where you can convert your files over and upload those into new Family Search. But it's going to be a little bit different, and it's kind of where the world of computing is heading. A term that's just coming out now is cloud computing.
That was one of the things Mary was asking. Is this cloud computing?
and certainly we are watching the industry, and we will move with the industry as it goes. And so it has pluses and minuses, and I will say that as a genealogist, there are things I really like about it, and some things that give me a little bit of concern. But it's just kind of the nature of we're all kind of along on this ride, and we aren't really steering anything. We're just kind of going where the industry goes. And so we're kind of keeping our eyes open to that one and what the opportunity is and how we can best make it work for the needs of genealogists and family historians.
I think what I really hear underlying in your conversation, and it's really good for me to hear, I'm glad to hear it, is that there is an embracing of new technology. It's a good thing, and even though so many of us work so hard to get up to speed with what we're already using, what I think it really does is it opens up the doors for, you kind of touched on it, the new users. And genealogy in general, of course, benefits the more people that are interested and devoted to working with it. What do you see in terms of the future? What do you hear in your daily duties as Chief Genealogical Officer in terms of, is genealogy growing? Are younger people coming online? And are the folks who have been doing it for a while, like you and I, are we adapting?
I think we are adapting, and there are some exciting things going on in the industry. And what we're really seeing, obviously, are some generational approaches to this. And so we have users that have been there for a while that are still very comfortable in that format of working online within a constraint and that kind of thing. And they're comfortable going to a library, and they're comfortable going to a courthouse and that type of thing. But we have a generation of 25-year-olds that if you mention going to the library, it's like you're just completely out of the space and you don't know what you're talking about. We're seeing kind of a Facebook phenomenon just come on with a vengeance. The website We're Related now has 55 million users on Facebook. Well, that's just phenomenal. That any figure like that in our community is just phenomenal. And so that whole type of viral marketing is beginning to take place, and word of mouth and that kind of thing is just really taking hold. And so we're going to see a major transition here over the next few years, and it's just that difference in comfort level. You know, whether you're a person that emails or whether you're a person that texts, or it's like I'll see my kids texting all the time, and I'll say, well, why don't you just call them? And they just look at me like, oh, Dad,
pick up a phone.
Exactly. Why would I can? And their whole thought is they're multitasking.
Yeah.
So they're texting to like 25, 26 friends at a time, whereas if they call them, they can only talk to one at a time. And so it's just this whole thing of genealogy done in real time is going to become a big thing.
Yes.
And so we're going to see more and more of that as technology imposes opportunity on us, and we're going to recognize the opportunity for what it is, and we're finally going to move that direction.
And I think there's probably going to be a blurring of the line. A library is no longer just a physical library anymore. It's as much of a library when it's online, whether you're pulling it off the shelf or clicking on a link. And yet I can't help but think that in the end, these new users, you get to a place where you exhaust a lot of this online and you still have to make a trip. So in a way, we are grooming people to eventually down the road end up back and patronizing our precious libraries, which we don't want to lose, right?
Well, physical libraries in many ways are going to have to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
They really are, and they're going to have to work very, very hard at it and very strategically. Interestingly enough, there's been a trend in public libraries, for example, to put coffee shops in there to kind of emulate what's going on in the bookstores, in the Borders, and the other bookstores. But those kinds of things to bring people in. And it's going to be a very different world for public libraries and public library collections when you have the bulk of the genealogical books basically scanned and online. That really changes how you search them. And the fact that I can search across now 300, 400, 500, 500,000 volumes for the particular surname that I'm looking for. Whereas before, many of these published family histories, the name on the spine was only of the major family, and so you could have descendants buried in that volume somewhere.
Exactly.
And not know it, and so you didn't know which book to pull off the shelf. Mm-hmm. Now suddenly you can search across all the books, and the information comes to light. Right. And so the libraries have to deal with that kind of thing, that they have a physical book sitting on a shelf, but the access online is so much greater than pulling the book off the shelf that they've got to figure out a way to work in this new environment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anything else, new and interesting things that we should keep our eyes out for as we go into the future?
Well, of course, our big thing right now is record search, and the fact that we're putting up millions of images, millions of names. We are into the imaging business big time, and so we have several flows of data into that pipeline, if you will. All of the stuff that we've already acquired, the 2.5 million rolls of film that I mentioned earlier, we're converting those. At the same time, though, we still have 200 cameras going in the field that are capturing new images. Yeah. Of those, 150 of those are digital cameras. So there's a steady flow of brand new digital images that have never been seen before coming in that way. And so all of that combined just really, really changes the landscape. And
10 years ago, you probably didn't even... None of us knew that you were going to be in this business.
Couldn't have envisioned this 10 years ago, and honestly can't quite envision where we'll be 10 years from now. The other product that I am just absolutely elated about is our new wiki product. And, and the wiki, the ability for all of us now as a community to share what we know and share the information. And you don't have to be an expert to contribute to the wiki, but you know something about some place or person or object or thing, and you can contribute that to the wiki. And that, collectively, what we know is the most powerful genealogical tool on earth.
You know, it was interesting because I had an opportunity to interview several of the consultants at the Family History Library, and they were telling me, "Oh, yeah, I'm contributing to the British wiki. I'm contributing to the German one." I can get what Bearable Johnson has to say about German research on the wiki. That's amazing to have that kind of access to their brain power and their experience.
Well, and with them kind of putting what I term the sourdough starter, kind of starting all of these pages with some good quality content. And then invite the community at large now to come in and to add what they know or make corrections if needed or that type of thing. But to do that in real time is just astounding. and it's really exciting.
And it's interesting to me that in the end, something that's been a long time hobby, genealogy has been around forever, and isn't it funny that it lends itself so amazingly to technology? It is this old practice that has just married, in many ways. I think that genealogy is one of the few areas that's helped some of us over 30 get technologically savvy, because so much of everything that we do online can be applied to genealogy and help us move quicker and get better results. And I think that's probably makes your job pretty interesting these days.
It does, and let me put a plug in for the National Genealogical Society Conference next spring in April, because people are going to see something there that they haven't seen before. We've added a whole technology hall in addition to our regular exhibit hall. And so there are going to be technology demonstrations and the way that we apply technology to genealogy and all those types of things, and some pretty amazing stuff. And so I hope people will keep their eyes open for that one. It's going to be fascinating.
You bet. And when you head to these conferences, the expos, the NGS conference, FGS, that's your chance to really have all of this technology demystified, isn't it? Because you're hearing it, and once you get in the loop, it actually, you start to think, wow, I just saved 4 hours. This is great, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is where they show you how to do it and why it makes sense. And the other great thing to me is it sparks ideas in the innovators when they come to the shows, and they are really our ally in this.
Yeah.
And suddenly they see a need and they say, gee, if this product would just do this, then we could do all of this. And so it's really exciting.
I bet that's where the originating thoughts come from for so many of the things that you're doing. Somebody says, I wish we could do this.
Absolutely.
And so giving that feedback, commenting on blogs or sending in feedback to the different websites, they may not be able to move on it immediately, but you probably do take some of that and look at it, don't you?
And that's exactly one of the things we're going to do at the NGS show. Is we're going to have terminals there, and that's exactly what we're going to ask for. Is so, tell us what tools you'd like to have. What are the things you need, and we intend to mine that feedback as much as we can, because that's what drives technology. And so, right now on our other site, FamilySearch Labs, that's where we're testing all our new stuff. And so if you want to see the latest and greatest, go to FamilySearch Labs. And those are the ideas that are currently being baked.
And remind me, is it FamilySearchLabs.org?
Yes.
That's the correct address.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I have to ask you, do you ever get a chance to work on your own genealogy?
I do get a chance to work on my own genealogy. I make time to do that. That's important to me.
Yeah.
And I've been tracing the descendants of an immigrant ancestor and just having a world of fun. And so who knows, I may sneak in just a little research while I'm in Arkansas next week.
Wonderful. Well, I think we are very fortunate to have somebody who has such an extensive genealogy background, keeping an eye on all of this change. It is moving quickly, but it's exciting to know. And it's exciting to know that it's not necessarily just a computer programmer who's making these decisions, but we've got someone like you who's looking at the microfilm, helping to prioritize and listening and interested in what the users are thinking. David, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out today and talking with all of us on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Would you like to power boost your genealogy research and break through those brick walls? Well, here's your answer. Become a Genealogy Gems premium member. You'll get members-only episodes every month packed with great tips that you can use right away, and instructional videos walking you through the best internet tools step by step. Our current video series is Solving Your Family History Mysteries with Google Earth. And we also have Google, a gold mine of genealogy gems that helps you get the most out of Google. If you enjoy the Genealogy Gems podcast, then I promise you are going to love being a Genealogy Gems premium member. Premium member Lisa Lear says she does.
Hi, Lisa. I wanted to call and thank you for all your hard work putting together the premium membership episode. You offer the most helpful hints and find wonderful gadgets and databases to include in your premium podcast and your videos. I feel more and more confident than ever in my research. Now that I've made you my research mentor, there's no doubt in my mind that I will break down a serious brick wall one day, and it'll be thanks to you and your premium membership, which, in our ancestors' words, is worth its weight in gold. Thanks, Lisa.
To become a premium member, go to my website at genealogygems.tv and click the Join Today button. Genealogy Gems premium membership, it's where you belong.
Profile America, Tuesday, December 8th. Today marks the birthday of one of the giants of America's early automobile industry. William Durant started by making horse-drawn carriages in Flint, Michigan. Then, sensing the potential of self-powered vehicles, he switched to building motor cars in the early part of the last century. He went on to help found both Buick and Chevrolet and put together General Motors in 1908. During his career, Durant headed GM twice, and during the 1920s, built a car bearing his name. In spite of the current difficulties facing the U.S. automobile industry, cars and trucks play a huge role in our daily lives and the economy of the nation. There are more than 244 million motor vehicles on the nation's highways. Profile America is in its 13th year as a public service of the U.S. Census Bureau.
And that's it for this episode of the Genealogy Gems podcast. This has been episode 76, and as always, you can find the show notes with all the highlights and website links at my website at genealogygems.tv. Click on the podcast button. You're going to find it over there in the menu bar on the left-hand side of the page, and just navigate your way to episode number 76. And a quick reminder, be sure and download the free Genealogy Gems toolbar for your internet browser because I've added a new feature. It's called Lisa's Gem of the Week. You just click on the blue diamond on the toolbar and you will go to a page exclusively for toolbar users with gems that you can use. And that's in addition to the Google search box, the highlighter pen, podcast media player, research gem sites, all the other good stuff. So if you've already downloaded the toolbar, the new features are going to automatically appear. So you're all set to go. And toolbar users also get instant alerts. Now, I used this last week. World Vital Records announced that they were making colonial records available from November 25th to the 30th. It was just for a couple of days. And I shot the message out to toolbar users with an instant alert that included a link to that special offer page. And everybody had it so they could use it during that offer window. So I love having that feature and being able to get that information out to you in real time. So to download the toolbar, go to www.thegenealogygemspodcast.ourtoolbar.com. And with one click, you can start using it right away. So until next time, thanks so much for listening, friend. I'll talk to you soon.